This is Village of Belmont, May 13th, 2025. First meeting called to order with the new elected officials. At this time, I'll ask everyone to stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Dylan, is that air conditioner on air or on fan? Or?
It's just fan right now, I believe.
I think it needs air.
No, it's on cool.
Okay, thank you.
It's on cool.
Claudia, at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
I think all of you know me, but I am Claudia Dant. I'm the village clerk. So I'll start with the official oath of office. And Gary, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
So if you'll stand up, face me, raise your hand, I'll read this to you, and then I'll hand it to you to read and sign. So I, and you state your name.
Gary Lance.
Having been elected to the office of trustee in the county of Wabash, aforesaid, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
I will faithfully discharge
faithfully what?
discharge
Discharge
the duties of
duties of
the office of trustee
the office of what?
trustee
Trustee,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay, all right. I'll have you sign this and we'll finish filling it out.
Okay.
Ms. Bruce, you are next.
All right.
Purple, is that okay? Well, I don't care.
The black one.
It might be better to do it in black.
That's what I thought it was pretty complicated.
I just have a green one too. There we go. But you have to give it back. Okay. I, Barbara Bruce,
I, Barbara Bruce,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
in the county of Wabash,
in the county of Wabash,
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
aforesaid, do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of trustee
of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay. Mr. Johnson. You know it by heart by now?
Not quite.
I, Herschel Johnson,
I, Herschel Johnson,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
in the county of Wabash,
county of Wabash,
aforesaid,
aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of,
the duties of the office of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, Claudia, if I may. Can we read our names?
I never got that.
We're at these.
What about them?
You're gonna put,
I only have three, and I will make
Yeah,
a copy
you're gonna
of
do it
the
up
other
there.
It's for you to reference.
and
Anything down here if I don't see it.
you sign it there, and then I'll do the rest.
Okay. So you get to put your John Henry.
Okay.
Mrs. Johnson, are you ready?
Okay.
Do you have it memorized?
No.
I, Linda Johnson,
I, Linda Johnson,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of mayor
of the office of mayor
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
in the county of Wabash,
in the county of Wabash,
aforesaid, do solemnly swear
aforesaid, do solemnly swear
that I will, or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of mayor
the duties of the office of mayor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Ms. Walling,
Okay.
I, Peggy, I started calling you Johnson. I, Peggy Walling,
I, Peggy Walling,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
in the county of
in
Wabash,
the county of Wabash,
aforesaid,
aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support
or affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
trustee
trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Mr. Riggs.
I got some finishing.
What is your official first name?
Jerry.
I, Jerry Riggs,
I, Jerry Rigg,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
in the county of Wabash,
the county of Wabash,
aforesaid,
aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear,
or affirm
affirm,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of trustee
the duties of the office of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay. Ms. Isaac. I, Linda Isaac,
Linda Isaac,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
in the village of Belmont,
in the village of Belmont,
in the county of Wabash,
and the county of Wabash,
aforesaid,
aforesaid,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of trustee
the duties of the office of trustee
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can we have a hand for the
Thank
elected official?
you. And so turn the floor back to me.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now that we have those formalities under order, we'll get back to the agenda. I would like to ask the board to consider moving public speaking up now so that our guests will not have to wait that need to speak this evening. Do we have anyone that opposes that? We have it later down on the list.
I think it's fine. There's no need for it to stick around.
Anyone else has opposed moving public comments up to now?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, and if we have someone that comes in later and wants to speak, we can take the ability to do that. Okay. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and open the floor for public comment.
Dylan Woods.
Hi, Dylan.
So first, I want to congratulate everybody,
Thank you.
and I want to say that I do support all of you. However, I just want to make a couple things clear that I don't feel were done right in the election. While I'm not contesting any election, I'm not doing that. I want to make that clear. I accept and support every one of you. But at the time that people were getting their papers to fill out and turn in to the board for their election to want to run, I stood right here in this office and listened to every specific individual being told, you have to run for a 4-year term. Nobody was going to run for it, Nat. You were the one that said it. don't shake your head no, we can go back, I audio recorded it. You told every person sitting in this, hold on, I'm not asking for your
I want
comments.
you to make a point who you're pointing to, so
Okay,
the public will know.
Linda Johnson, you specifically picked and chose 3 candidates, unopposed. Your husband, Gary, and Linda. They ran for 2-year terms, correct? You were told you were allowed to run for 2-year terms, correct? Okay. Everybody else, including me, you told me that everybody had to run for 4-year terms because it was an entire new board and they had no choice but to run for a 4-year term. So you picked, hand-selected 3 individuals to go unopposed, to be elected to this board, to do your bidding. Now don't tell me you're not, because why would those 3 be told 2-year term, but everybody else a 4-year term? That, and I'm not asking for response by no means. I'm not here to argue or, like I said, I support every one of you. I believe that you're going to do great things. I honestly do. And I congratulate Linda Johnson on her win as mayor. Beat me fair and square. I wish more people would have voted. I mean, I know we all do. But I was not happy with the way that went. You can't tell people you don't want to be elected onto the board that they have to run for 4 years, and then tell the people you want on the board, hey, you're going to run for 2 years unopposed. Because you even said that we had 3 people running unopposed after the filing, and made it clear in the meeting and the back that those 3 were running unopposed. And you specifically told me it was because you didn't want specific people elected to office. Now, Claudia was here for that. She heard every bit of it. You said it, and also Chris Roberts heard it. So, to me, that was dirty. Whatever happens, happens from that, but it was dirty. You cannot hand select your board because you know they're a yes vote for you. Now, as far as mayor, I wish you the absolute best, Linda, but I don't ever want to hear the words come out of your mouth, I don't want this anymore. Take it. I will give it to you. How many years have you been begging me to take your position, and how many times you sat right over there in front of Jerry and Patty begging me so you could leave the position and give mayor to me, and then me appoint you to the board to help me run the town as mayor. Those were specific words to the quote that you stated in front of this man right here and his wife on our front porch in front of me and my wife multiple times. So, with that being said, I don't ever want to hear you say you don't want this position, that you want somebody else to take it, that you're willing to give it up. You were elected, do your job. Don't complain about it. And don't try to get somebody to run all the way up to the night before you fill out the paperwork, turn in, begging me to run for mayor. For 2 weeks, you begged me to run for mayor. And what did I tell you for those 2 weeks and the months prior? I don't want it. I'm good with being on the board. You begged me up to the night we signed the paperwork. I signed running for mayor, and you specifically told me, if you run for mayor, I will pull my papers and run for trustee. So I ran for mayor. Then you ran against me. And the reason why, and I was specifically told by multiple people in this town, was to get me off the board because I wasn't a yes man. So I ran for mayor against you, knowing that you were going to get chosen because you were handing out flyers to everybody with who you wanted elected right from this office. On a Saturday, you were handing out stuff to tell people who you wanted them to vote for. I was not even informed that we had that little meeting out here to hand out papers. Now, this man right here is the one that told me that you guys were over here doing it along with his wife. told me that you guys were out here doing it. So you can't sit here and say you weren't. First off, it was a quorum, it wasn't a meeting, and it was illegal. But whatever. My point is, don't ever complain about your job as mayor ever again. Finish your term and either get out or run again, but don't complain and try to get somebody else to have it. Third, whichever one, don't handpick your people. I'm sorry, but there's 3 people in this room that were not elected fairly. While I do not oppose it, and I appreciate every one of you, good luck. Run the town. Make sure we get the things we need. The park, the roads, everything that we've talked about. Do it. You guys are fully capable. Every one of you. I want to see every one of you succeed for the next 4 years, 2 years, and make this town a better place. Because right now it sucks. It is embarrassing to tell people I live in Belmont. Quit wasting money, time, effort, and everything else on vendettas. Do your job. Quit trying to sue people. Quit hand-picking who you're going to complain about. Quit constantly trying to fight against and fall into the trap. That's what it is. It's a trap. They play you, Linda, to get you to respond, to get the board to respond, and then guess what? You guys are the problem. You guys are the one not doing your job. Don't play into their bull crap. Just do your job, let them talk, go home, and enjoy your positions that you were elected to do. That's all I got to say. Congratulations. I appreciate you guys.
Mayor, if I may, I need to clarify something. What happened out here, Dylan, I orchestrated that. We canvassed. Those of us who were running, I had friends who put those postcards together.
Okay.
So it was a support of all of us who were running.
Okay. Were you a quorum?
There were people out there, but let me...
Were you a quorum?
No.
We're more than 2 people.
If you do not discuss business, it is not a forum.
It's business.
We were canvassing.
It's business.
We were not talking about what is going on today in this
about the
building.
election.
Nothing
If
on
you're
the
talking
agenda.
about the election, which you were
It
passing
was
out
canvassing.
papers.
I know you're new to the Riggs family. Do you know how many times at family gatherings, the candy making, there were a quorum? They were mature. They did not discuss
That's
business.
different.
And we did not discuss business.
If you were discussing
We
election,
were not
that's business.
discussing business.
If
We
it-
took them, we said, we're going here, you're going there.
Okay, why wasn't I informed
Thank
of
you.
that?
Thank you for,
Because
clarifying.
it was our group. You were her opposition.
I wasn't opposed to
And
that.
as far as 2-year terms, the other people could have ran for 2-year terms.
Nope.
I was-
I was standing right here when she told them they could not.
But I'd like to add something. Okay. I was never informed that I was non-opposed.
tell you. I don't tell them.
I was in the nursing home.
No. She said it here in the meeting while we were all here.
Okay, well, I was
Yeah.
in the nursing.
You
home.
might not have been here, but we were.
Yeah, but you sounded making it sound like I knew.
Oh, no, but those that knew, those that were here. I don't remember when you were here and when you weren't.
Yeah, I was in the nursing home,
Yeah.
and Linda came, I asked Linda about the election, and she told me, and she never said that I was unopposed.
Well, either way, we didn't know until that
She said I had
was
to be elected.
We didn't know until after the election that it was unopposed.
Oh.
Yeah, we had no idea until we went to the election box and it was like, oh, well,
But it should have been, they make the ballot public beforehand. So
I
it
don't-
would, no, but I mean, it would have been, because that's one thing Janet has to do.
Right.
She has to publicly make them, so
But
people
either
should
way-
have known.
But
before
either
the
way, it
ballot.
doesn't matter. The paperwork was already turned in and everybody
Okay,
but
well,
these 3
I understand your
people ran for
concern.
2 years.
We'll move on.
Okay.
Claudia, will you
That's fine.
clarify?
You don't like this.
how
I just
the
wanted to
terms are-
clarify
No,
how
I
the
understand.
candidacy-
That's
Me
fine.
too.
That's
I'm
fine.
not
I
trying-
apologize
No,
for
no,
not
no.
sitting aside for 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I went, that's my fault.
Claudia's our clerk, and she she takes care of the election ballots completely. I can't tell anyone to run for 4 or 3. I can ask
you
you, I can
did.
encourage you. I can encourage you to
No,
be
no.
on the board.
You told
But
everybody
When
that they
each
had a
person
4
came
year.
in, I asked
Up
them
to
what
the clerk.
term, what year term, how many years they wanted to run for, if they wanted to run for a 4-year term or a 2-year term. Everyone made their own choice.
Not
There was
while I
one
was
man that I
standing here.
suggested he run for a 2-year term, because he was an older man, and I thought he might not want to be on for 4 years.
You might
And his
have.
buddy that came along with him said, no, you run for a 4-year term.
So what I'm saying is I heard people on this board and Linda Johnson specifically
Okay.
tell certain people they had to run for a 4-year term. And you cannot deny it.
I can express my opinion on anyone, but I cannot tell
But
them
you
what to do.
did not say
So,
they could run a
we're gonna
2-year
move on
term.
now.
I thought 5 minutes was up.
Okay,
Well,
we're gonna
yeah,
move on.
You're going on and on
And-
and on.
No, they're talking to me.
You're going
But
on.
they're talking
Your
to me.
I'm not talking to you now, the floor.
Hey,
Okay, but they
I
were
think
talking to
it's
me.
time for silence in the place.
Thank you.
Okay, forgive me, but I know that the league wants to speak. Do either one of you want to have a open floor while it's open? Your name, please?
Keith Burberry.
Yes, sir.
Been here, my family's been here since the 20s, like a lot of folks. We're part of this town, been part of this town. Got cousins, friends, neighbors, the whole bit. Anyway, about a year ago, you and some gentleman come down past my house and you were surveying the ditches.
Yes, sir.
You saw my ditch runs uphill, it doesn't go downhill. And it still runs uphill, doesn't go downhill. Water collects there, getting mosquitoes. Kind of wondering, maybe this year, you'll do something about the ditch. 4 or 5 years ago, they talked about the culverts getting blown out because the leaves go down the culverts get plugged up. We get more mosquitoes. Don't know what's going to happen with that. That's my only 2 questions.
Okay, I will address that a little later in the meeting. That is on the topic this evening.
Okay.
And I'll try to do it quickly so that we don't keep you too long in case you have another engagement.
I don't have any other needs.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Just glad y'all, those of you that got elected, congratulations. Those of you that didn't, I hope you do support. And we don't have any more of this back and forth. Thank you very much.
But it is, I know that you're on the list for it, and we actually have our bid this evening that we're taking before the board for our ditches. And we looked at your ditch considerably. We have to start with the alley, so that is on there. And we can't do the flushing until after the ditches are done. So, and last year, our ditch guy did not come through for us. He ran out of time or did not get them all done, but I believe we're going to move more quickly this year. We have Derek Geiswhite that has given us a decent bid that we're going to be working with.
Perfect.
So, and anyone else want to speak?
Well, I don't have much to say, but I have lived in this town, born and raised for 75 years, soon be 76.
And your name, please?
Oh, Zoella Camp Burberry.
Thank you.
And I've always been proud to tell people I'm from Belmont. And I think everybody that has served on the board and you as mayor have done a fantastic job. But I do get tired, and I may get flack for this, of the blowhards that come in here and just mouth off, and they don't know what they're talking about, but they keep mouthing. So I do wish that would quit. I'm an observer, but I get tired of the blowhards. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Zoella. I realize that the previous meetings have been difficult. We've had a small board. Now that we have a 7-person board, I do believe that it will go more smoothly. We have more people involved to run the meeting, not just myself. So I'm hoping to put an end to that run-on. And we are addressing that again this evening when we are talking about public speaking. The proposal we have on the change on that. So we'll see how that goes this evening. Okay? All right, then at this time, I'll go ahead and open the floor to the Baseball Belmont Recreational League. And league is misspelled.
I know. I saw it and I didn't fix it.
It's a legume.
Depends on how much
Yeah,
water.
my name's Ted Kramer, and I'm the treasurer for the Belmont Area Recreational League. And we have a board too, and Of course, I'm the treasurer, I take care of the money, but I'm also on the board, so. Anyhow, I wanted to give an update of what's going on at the ballpark. Well, lately it's been a lot of rain, but we made the decision, and I think it's still the right one, that we were gonna try and disc the infield instead of spraying it. Break up the grass that's growing up. And of course, the rain has caught us right now, and there's a little bit of standing water even today. Well, I was just down there before I came here. And, but once that gets dried up a little bit, we're gonna get a drag on it and just start dragging. So, we'll get that disc out of there, and we'll get the drag on it just as soon as we can, and see if we can make something out of that infield. Other than that, but in the meantime, we're working on the dugouts. We're gonna try and get the roofs on them, and we're working on the outfield fences. The side fences need some attention. We're gonna put some drain pipe over the top of them, some field tile, and so if someone comes and runs into that, they won't run into a T-post or something and impale themselves. We want it to be safe, and we're putting a lot of time and effort into making it safe. Other than that, we've also worked on the concession stand, and, you know, there's a lot of work there, but we're knocking it out just as quickly as we can. We have a group that wants to come in and have a tournament there as soon as we get the field in shape. It's scheduled now for around the 23rd of May.
She just texted me this evening, I went to add, said that I want to start the tournament at 11 a.m. on May 24th.
May 24th.
So no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. But, yeah, I looked at the weather report, it's supposed to rain 4 days next week.
Yeah, not looking good.
So we'll do the best we can to get it ready for them, and, you know, it's kind of, we want to use this to bring people into town and have these tournaments, and our goal is for that diamond to be utilized. So that's pretty much all I have to say. So thank you.
Would you like to add something here?
Sure.
Just in
We
case.
haven't got it yet.
Oh, okay.
I can let you know.
Just in case you haven't heard yet, Brad, we've got the home plate and the pictures plate and all that stuff in now.
Also, Ted, I want to remind you that Mr. Geislight said that he would be able to sign disc, or whatever that's called.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he-
he had a machine that he said he could break it up,
Yeah, so after the,
but it's still gonna have to dry out.
right. I just wanted you to put that in the back of your mind to call on him.
Yeah, I do have it in there, but we wanna maybe throw a drag on it and see what that does for it, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Playing it by ear at this point.
And we will also be, the village will also be, turning the gravel on the road. I don't know what that's called, the proper name of it, but it's where you just
Grading it?
grade it. Yeah, we'll be doing that in the part too, opposed to chip and seal or anything like that.
Okay.
Mr. Guys like seemed to think that would work well down there. Okay.
And if I could add to that, I've been the liaison and working with these guys, and it's fantastic. I mean, I've lived in my house all my life, that baseball field's right out my back door, and it's great to watch people coming together, people who grew up here, who played on that field, you know, coming, bringing their time, their talent. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what small community, what it's about.
Okay. At this time, I'll go ahead and close the floor.
It's 7 p.m.
Pardon me? Brad, did you?
No.
I'm
no,
sorry.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay, thank you.
I'm good, thank you, though.
Okay. And then, Claudia, would you read the minutes? Everyone had a chance to review the minutes from last month, and if anyone had any questions on them, any changes you may need to make, we'll bring that to her attention at this time. If you haven't already, and she can, if it's a small thing, she can do at the table. If not, then she can make that amendment and reissue those. And I'll have her read those for us now.
If you insist.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay. The regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Village of Belmont met at 6:30 p.m. at the Village Hall. Acting Mayor Linda Johnson called the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. Asked for a roll call with the following members present: Linda Johnson, Linda Isaac, Peggy Walling, Barbara Bruce, Dylan Woods, and Claudia Dant Clark. Guests were Gary Lance, Tom, and Paula Garrett. The group stood and recited the Pledge of Allegiance. The clerk read the minutes from the March 2025 meeting. Johnson asked if there were any additions or corrections. She then asked for a motion to approve the minutes. Trustee Bruce made the motion to approve, and it was seconded by Trustee Walling. All members present voted yes. The trustees had examined the bills and financials, and Johnson made the following comments. Since there is no village charge card, she often purchases items from the village or pays particular bills herself and then submits a bill for reimbursement, and 2 items would appear on the list in her name. There is the charge for cameras recently installed at the park. They're called U-Box, and it was $169.99, and the cloud data plan, $39.99. She also noted that 4 cameras are installed at the village hall, and those cameras operate on the city hall Wi-Fi and are paid on the Frontier bill. Johnson noted that during the month of May, a large payment for the water system loan would be due. The water account balance will not cover the amount, and money from the sewer account will be borrowed to pay the bill. A bill was received from Milano and Grunlow for a water project plan, protection plan. Johnson will call Lee Beckman and Milano and Grunlow to inquire about what this bill covers. 2 certificates of deposit will mature at the end of April and will be renewed at that time with the best rate of interest possible from a local bank. Johnson asked if there were any questions about the bills and financials and asked for a motion to approve such. Linda Isaac made the motion to approve, and the motion was seconded by Dylan Woods. There was a roll call vote with the following results. Isaac, yes. Woods, yes. Johnson, yes. Walling, yes. And Bruce, yes. The clerk read the results with the motion passing with 5 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 absent. For the water report, Johnson reported that the chlorine reading at the water tower was 2.4 and the city hall reading was 2.0. The water tower level was 118 feet. There had been a water meter leak on Hackberry Street, which was repaired. A new chlorine drum was opened recently, and the daily chlorine readings were higher, but within acceptable levels. Water operator Kerry Sanders asked that no changes be made with the daily operating procedure at this time. There has been 1 complaint about the chlorine level in the village water. Due to heavy rainfall in the area in the last week, valves 4B1 and 2 at the sewer ponds have been opened to allow the ponds to drain slowly. A deputy from the Wabash County Sheriff's Office entered the meeting at 6:53 p.m., but had to leave on a call at approximately 7:10. There was no old business on the agenda to discuss. Concerning new business, Johnson announced that a large trash pickup day has been scheduled for May 14th, and a tire recycling day will be held May 17th. Prices for tires recycled are the same as those charged for disposal by the tire company in Albion. The village offers this as a service to the community and to cut down on mosquito population and nuisance violations. Notices of these things will be placed in the next water bills mailed and posted outside the village hall building. A Julie Big pamphlet will also go in the water bills, which are sent before May 1st. The Methodist Church has planned an Easter egg hunt at the Belmont Park at 10:30 a.m. on April 12th and has asked permission to use the park. The clerk was asked to read the suggested changes to the ordinance, which concerns public speaking during the public comment period at regular meetings. The changes suggested are to limit the time of each speaker to 3 minutes. The current amount of time is 5 minutes. Another change is to limit the total time of public speaking to 15 minutes total for the floor to be open. Currently, there is no time limit. The purpose of the suggested change would be to keep the meeting flowing better. There were a few questions for clarification. Johnson asked for a motion to approve the proposed changes to the administration ordinance 2025-1. Linda Isaac made the motion to approve the motion, and the motion was seconded by Barbara Bruce. When the vote was called, Trustee Dylan Woods voted no, and a discussion followed. Trustee Walling asked for the vote to be postponed since she had not had a chance to review the change. Walling said that at the May meeting, the new trustees will be sworn in, and she felt they should have a chance to vote on this change. Woods made a motion to table the vote until the May meeting, and the majority voted to table until the May meeting. As trustees took the opportunity to speak around the table, Trustee Bruce discussed the park and the shelter house. The Garrett family, Tom and Paula, are new members of the Recreational League and attended the board meeting. A workday at the baseball field is scheduled for April 12th. She mentioned some of the items for the workday. Melissa Engel is planning a ball tournament on Memorial Day. Damon Sloss is rescheduling the ball tournament, which was previously rained out in 2024. The shelter house rentals are averaging 2 per month. Pastor Brad Garner has inquired about using the park to have a movie night in the park and is looking for a screen. Linda Isaac said she had a screen which she will donate. Dylan Woods inquired about his water bill, and this was discussed. Since the water bills were estimated while snow was on the ground, resuming water meter readings has caused some fluctuations in the bills for several customers. There was a discussion about how much digital meters would benefit the village and the planned replacement for all water lines and meters in the future, funded partially with a grant. The grant application is still in process. Johnson thanked all the people who voted during the April 1st election, those who ran for office, the poll workers, poll watchers, and those who canvassed to get out the vote. Johnson mentioned that she had a complaint from a water customer that they do not get a 24-hour notice of water shut-off with the door tag. She's been consulting the attorney and Frank Hellingenstein about the procedures in place, and they feel our process is adequate since the customers are notified in 2 ways about the date payment is due and the shut-off dates. Johnson hopes to have a discussion later about the possibility of raising the water deposit amount. Anyone who is not able to pay their bill on time has the opportunity to call City Hall and discuss the water bill and have a water hearing before the shut-off date. Johnson opened the floor for public comments at 7:29 and closed at 7:29 since there were no public comments. Johnson announced that the next regular meeting will be held on May 13th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. There were no conflicts. Peggy Walling made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Dylan Woods seconded the motion. All members voted aye, and the meeting was adjourned at 7:30 p.m. Claudia Dant, clerk.
I have an amendment. Okay. I didn't review the video, but just from memory, I believe that it was Dylan Woods that suggested that we wait until the May meeting and let the new board make that decision.
Yeah, every part of that was wrong. Like the entire whole thing, from me saying no and conversation ensued, none of it was correct.
I'll finish my amendment. I think that I was the one that said that I didn't receive the information in my packet and I wanted to table it so I could investigate the legality of it.
Okay, at this time I'd ask the board, would you like the clerk to review the film and rewrite that portion of it, or do we have a clearing understanding of what took place? Does anyone else recall anything different?
Do you recall anything?
I don't, but I say let's get it right. We've got the video, it's easy to access, there'll be no questions.
Okay.
We can do it right, it'll be easy.
May I have a motion to carry on the minutes for April till next month's meeting before they are approved?
So moved. I'll move that
Have a
motion.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I would like to add another amendment to that. I know I'm not on the board anymore, but the part about the water bill needs to be amended correctly as well.
Sorry about that.
Fine.
Okay, tell me what you'd like her to say.
Well, when I brought up the bill,
Claudia,
we...
I
Just review the video.
Yeah, just review it, because I don't remember all the exact words, but it was more than just the estimation of bills. There was a lot more to that conversation. But other than that,
And remember, the topic is what needs to be discussed. Every word doesn't have to be said, but exactly what.
I always do the
Okay.
minutes from the recording that we have.
Okay.
right, but certain things are
Okay, so we have a
left out.
motion to go ahead and, let those minutes ride till next month, and they'll be to the board at that time. Okay? And, let's find out where I'm at here.
What I said in the last meeting, if I can't say something.
Does he understand? Dylan, do you understand that these minutes are not being approved?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
I don't have a
Okay, so we're gonna hold on to those minutes, and then, Brad, next we have the,
I think we need to
We need to
recess
recess
for 5
for
minutes
recess.
to get,
well, none of our board is missing, it's just, they're,
That's personal out there.
yeah, it's personal
Okay.
out there, so, unless someone wants to,
Referee?
or, no, I mean, if more than two people tell me that they think I should go and recess.
you don't need to referee. You may win.
Okay. And again, I want to clarify that that is a private matter outside, not affecting this board.
Okay.
It ain't bad.
Okay, so then, the next thing on our report is the, wow.
Here, I'll do it.
Here's paper towels on there, Herschel, thank you. Here's some, you could put them on the table, but hey.
That was a good idea, huh?
Ain't handy tonight.
Might take a little more, but it'll work.
Linda, you'll give me that red envelope. Thank you, Linda.
And this, you
I
can't
need
go quick
more
enough
man.
to go with that.
All right.
Did it get wet? This is the first thing I went for.
Okay, no more sodas on the table.
Army.
Is that a,
Unless you have your lid on.
I was just getting to get it, and
Oh, it could have happened to any of us. I'm teasing.
we'll probably need to hit some soap on that. I agree.
Yeah, and I'll be sure.
Jerry, I also need your, did you hand your cut off though?
No.
If you.
Oh, you wanted I having that, right?
And then your,
Where did I sign that?
the very top.
It's my fault to be done
That
that.
just was the
Yeah.
signature, not, or,
That's
that was
okay.
just,
Right,
the signature where the
I should
signature.
have
right there where you just
tightened
pointed.
up a little.
That's what I thought, but
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to be sure of it.
Yep. And then, Mr. Johnson, we still have to review the bills. We
I'll give
had a
you some
draft
space
that
here.
was sent out to everyone previous, and this is what's come across the table tonight, and the bills themselves are inside this envelope, for you to review, and if you have any questions on.
or all of this?
All this is the actual bills, like the invoice.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to see why a particular bill was a certain price, what was the item we bought? That
You
type
can
of-
look at the treasurer's
You
report,
want me to do
and then
that
if
right
you have
now?
any questions, you can look at the bill.
Well, I don't want
Before
you
the
to,
end of the meeting.
I don't want you to approve something that you haven't had an opportunity to look at. And you know the invoice because you've already gotten the total, but this is the actual bills in case you had any questions. Okay,
Well, may I ask, what's
yes.
different about these bills and the copies that I reviewed beforehand?
So, these are brought to the draft, and those drafts is given to our board. We try to get it out by Thursday night, and that way you have a total of what things were spent on that evening and so forth. And then if there's anything on here that you have a question about, like, well, what do you mean John Deere parts, $400, what were those parts? When this envelope comes to the table, you can go to the John Deere and see exactly what those parts are. And then if she happened to get any more bills in between Thursday when she drew this up for us and Tuesday, they will also be on here. So that if any new bills have come across, then they'll be,
You'll give us a new copy.
a new copy of this. And so you have this, and I will give you a new one. So when you take it home and put it in your folder, if you want to throw away drafts, you can. If you want to keep those, that's fine too, but that's the difference. And sometimes there's nothing different on them at all. But it's an opportunity for you to review before you get here. Because otherwise, you could take some time looking at that. And you're always welcome to come a little bit earlier and review the bills. Or any time you can come in and ask to review. But I usually do not get this envelope till the day of the meeting, is when she usually delivers it. Yes,
I had a question on the bills to be paid area also, because everything I marked was a debit instead of a credit. And it would be listed, it's listed under debit, like the real estate tax. Oh, that is.
It's just the opposite of what we normally think about. Money that we receive in is called our debit, and then what we're spending out is credit. It's just, that's official bookkeeping. It's just the opposite of what you and I would do at home.
Really?
Yes, this is accurate.
Because when I think of a credit, that adds to our
Yeah, you
our
think that
bank
you got
account.
something more. Yeah, and then, and you know when your water bills, when you have a credit, it's in parentheses when you've overpaid.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's, QuickBooks or just the,
Yeah, I marked everything, I mean, I went over it very thoroughly,
Sure.
I'm going negative, positive, that's a debit, that's a credit, you know.
Right, we've addressed that, it's the land use and then the columns were just
Yeah.
mixed up, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, for an example, on your, general fund, we received in, 7,000, and we only, turned out 3,000. We only paid 3,000 worth of bills from general fund this past month,
Right.
okay? And a good way to catch on is where it says, money that's received, like we paid out to the employees, you'll see their names, and they're on credit, because we paid them out. We paid those amounts, those checks written. Credit is checks written.
Okay, so it's money that we lost from our account.
Right, it's
So
what we
that,
spent,
that's not a debit?
it's what we spent.
So, it's under credit,
Mhm.
and that's so confusing, I'm sorry.
You'll get there, but.
I have a black and
like you
white
say, write
mind, you know,
that-
it's either
Write
debit
that
or
on your
credit.
note, and that way, next time you see it, you'll think, okay, this is what we spent, what we paid.
I was really on the fence about that too.
Yeah, I thought I was just dumb,
Me
you know.
too.
I still, you know.
I just thought
I
they were
wish
clerical
it was
error.
That's what I thought, I was
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I thought, that it got mixed up in the wrong
If you want,
column.
I can invite Lorraine to the next meeting, and she can explain it to us a little better if you like.
I'm not allowed to ask her at church, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's a holiday. I'm not sure if you want to talk town business or not.
No, I just, yeah.
No?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. I did want to point out, when I was reviewing the bills here, on the draft, I haven't seen the official one yet, that, on Linda Johnson backdoor camera, second year subscription, if you recall, last year, or last month, we did $169 for 1 year, $169 for the other camera, and then $39.99 for each camera too. Well, when I was making this payment with my Discover card, it did not go through, and then the next day it went through. So I actually purchased 2 years worth on one of the cameras. And so that's why we see that additionally another one this month. But I'll have to remember next year, I still got to purchase one more year, but not the other one. But I do have that on the calendar.
Quit trying to get hold of me.
Shut it off.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
may I help you?
It's a little
Only
bit.
because I really want to encourage folks not to bring their phones into the meeting, because the confusion of it. I think if we press and hold, it should give me an opportunity talking to me.
See?
Is that Google or Siri, Alexa?
I have
Tell it
no
to
idea.
silence it.
Gary, you should just be able to sweep down from the top,
Yeah.
and it should give you an option. It's not? Oh, well, never mind. That's the way mine is. Just swipe it
Well,
down.
they're all so much different, and so I'm pressing and holding, and then a lot of times they'll say
It's
to
not
turn off.
a button on
And it
the
didn't
very
work.
top on the left side?
Would you mind if I
Yeah,
just set it in the
there
other
is.
room?
I don't get it. Go ahead.
It doesn't shut.
Get it out of here.
Okay.
No, but it said off the wall or something.
It's Rhonda who's trying to get hold of me.
Is it important? You're welcome to.
No, it ain't important.
Okay. It's on the
Yeah,
water
nothing
right here,
that's
okay, Gary, and I
important.
won't let you
No.
forget it.
Never.
Everybody, don't let him forget his phone.
Okay.
Oh, I won't.
Okay. We did make that, payment last month, the water bill, and did have to take from sewer to make that amount. We still do have positive balance on our water account, but we need to decide on how we want to set up a program to start paying back to the sewer account. Those accounts can go back and forth, but I think it would be good practice to do that. At this time, we're still waiting to set up a program to pay our EPA loan when the water tower really gets into place. We're gonna open up for bids on June 1st on that, And then once those funds come to us, then we want to start an account just for saving for the EPA loan for tower painting. But we do need to consider how we're gonna handle that too. Once I, have a financial, trustee in charge of financials, I will help you to look at that, and we can study it together, and then we'll know what we want to present to the board to get their input, how that handled. Okay. Any other questions on bills and financials? May I have a motion to pass the bills?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor with a, roll call vote?
Barb, yes.
Gary, yes.
Linda, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Peggy, yes.
Herschel, yes.
Linda, yes. Mr. Johnson, once your bills are approved, if you approve of them, we ask you to initial at the top of the final report. Claudia, if you could, call back the roll call vote for the bills to be paid. Oh, did I do something wrong?
No. Okay. Motion was made by Peggy to, pass the bills and financials. Jerry seconded the motion, and Linda called for a roll call vote. Linda Isaac said yes, Jerry said yes, Peggy said yes, Linda said yes, Linda Johnson said yes, Herschel Johnson said yes, Barb Bruce said yes, Gary Lance said yes. So, motion passed with 7. You don't vote, do you?
I don't vote. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not me. Forgive me. New role. I've always been acting mayor, and therefore I had an active role, active
You
vote.
retained your vote.
And now I'm elected mayor. My apology. My vote does not count unless I'm breaking a tie or veto or something of that sort. And I will study up on that.
There were 6 aye votes, so the motion passed.
Thank you.
So,
A
what's the
question.
reason for having it back in the roll?
Well, I think it's important that when we're talking about money, that we have a affirmative yes or no, and who said yes or no. Because if you come back later, well, I abstained, well, did you or didn't you? So we need to know who, if it's money involved, we really need to. The minutes, I'll look up and see if that's actually required, but because we've had FOIAs and so forth, I think it's important that it's very clear who approved the bill.
When we go around and say Barb yes, Jerry yes, no, it's
And then her read it back?
in there, in her minutes that
Okay.
she done it, so why read it back?
Okay.
That's,
Because you're just reiterating that this is what happened. And making sure that everybody agrees. Because you might say, no, I didn't say that.
but you got in the minutes that I did.
Okay. I'll address that. We can pass that next time if that's how we need to do it. It's just that we've had such poor attendance and just needed a very
I
clear
understand that.
understanding, so. Okay, next on the agenda is the water report. Before we get started on that, I do want to mention that on the sewer, the, lift station, we had a pump go down, and we had service come out and look at it. And they ended up taking the, pump 1 back with them. I have not received a email yet telling me what the situation is, if it can be repaired, or if we have to buy another one. We are working, efficiently on 1 pump, but that's where we are on that. And then the water, do you have the readings for today?
City Hall 1.4, Tower 2.2, pressures holding good, levels 119.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's 1.4 at City Hall.
Towers 2.2.
Okay. I want to be sure I
These
have
are
it.
the chlorine readings.
Mhm.
The water pressure's holding well. The tower level, the level of water in the tower is at 119.
119.
May I pose a question with that report? What are the normal chlorine levels?
We have had it as high as 3, and that is acceptable. less than .5, that would send us into a boiler order.
Less than .5 is,
At City Hall.
oh,
City Hall is where we have to, maintain. Your tower is gonna fluctuate depending if you just did a mix or not, how far down you are. But at City Hall, which is what our residents is getting, I don't know the exact range, but I know less than .5 will cause a boil order, and, greater than 3 is okay. Our, reading goes up higher than that, but 3 is usually when people say, oh, I can taste the chlorine, or I can smell it, or something like that, but it's acceptable. I've been there and I called it in, and Terry, our, operator, says that is
is there any
acceptable.
way we can get, or maybe I should do it myself, get a level of what is unacceptable in the chlorine elevation?
Sure, and I think our our consumer confidence report may have that on it.
Okay.
And we have a copy of it here, and a copy on the board outside, and then we can always, hand you a copy,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Just being a
And
nurse,
then, and you
know.
can always go on to, the website and see the consumer confidence report there also, okay? And,
You might say what website that is.
There should be one on the table,
that
if
sheet
you
there.
don't pull it.
Is this it?
No,
I think
no.
it's on the
And that is,
table.
for, Gary.
Give me that table. You're not reading mine, I'm not. Crystal ball's correct.
IEPA drinking water, please.
It's in,
IEPA Drinking Water Watch is where you go, and then you can bring up your actual town.
IPA drinking water.
Illinois EPA is what it stands for.
PEA.
Thank you. Do you have a small book also?
Yeah.
At your convenience.
That might be in my bag, actually.
Thank you. And I'll get more information to you on that, Linda.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I just like to
Nope.
know the levels.
The range, yeah.
Sure, sure.
I never did know either, so.
Good idea. Okay, do we have any reports from trustees that they need to, well, you guys are all fairly new. So you don't have any reports to give me, but do you have anything to kind of, well, that's around the table, we'll get there.
On my report, I would just say that people are renting the shelter house like gangbusters. I mean,
That's
It's
good.
awesome.
yes, it's good. I really think, we struggled with that, and lowering that price really helped, We had it outpriced, and people couldn't afford it, and now they can.
Would we have it at?
It was $75 with a $25 deposit that you may or may not get back, and not having that deposit has not affected things. People are respectful, they're cleaning it up. Yeah, great thing. It's worked out well.
Have we had any more water issues?
No.
Good,
No.
okay. I'm still looking into trying to get a, estimate for, gutters on that system.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda, it's at my shop. I'll just give it to Jerry.
Okay.
Then I'll get it back.
All right, and then Claudia, if you'll go ahead and record that, Dylan Woods has turned over his ordinance book and, IML book to Jerry Riggs, trustee Jerry Riggs. And then if you'll put it on your log sheet, thank you. Okay, on new business, Claudia has written here, appointment of trustees for department oversight
That means who's in charge of
of what?
water and,
Okay.
various things.
I am not prepared to appoint anyone over any particular, department at this time. If you guys would like to consider, what you would like to be involved in, your IML book will show you our different departments, your ordinance book will show you that also. Off the top of my head, I will tell you that there's, financials, employee, park and shelter house, roads, and water and sewer. And those are the biggest things that I need the help with. I'm pretty sure after tonight that, I do think I would like to appoint Jerry Rigg as being our, something at arms. What's that?
Sergeant at arms.
Sergeant at arms, so that he can help me maintain a meeting, that things do not get out of hand when people speak loudly.
I thought that was Baron's job.
Well, I'm surprised Baron isn't over here hugging on me because I'm nervous. You know. But, yeah, but I think you did a very good job this evening, and I appreciate that.
Would you read that list again? Finances, water and sewer, shelter house, streets.
Shelter house and park, employees, and streets.
Okay.
Is that 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep.
And there's a lot more. It can be broken down even further, but those are the bigger ones that we need to know someone's going to be taking care of that. At this time, Barbie in the past has taken care of our spokesperson for the media, you know, like when we have a withdrawal order and so forth. Do you feel like that is still something you can handle?
Oh, absolutely.
Then I will continue with that. And then the other ones, everyone looks into what is involved. If you want to talk to me at another time, and we can talk more in detail, I can go over any of the situations with you, and you can decide if that's something that you're willing to take on or not. Okay, before you this evening also, you received it earlier. We did receive it last month and put it on the table. That was a change in the public speaking ordinance. The ordinance is before you, and that is asking you to consider reducing public speaking time per person from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, and then the total time that the floor is open to a limit of 15 minutes. Those are within the guidelines. I sent out, I think there's 3 papers going around, that one in the blue, the rest is black and white, but it's Robert's Rules of Public Speaking, and if you look at that, you'll see that's well within the guidelines of what we're allowed to do. We are asked to always have public speaking available, and it is on our ordinance to how much we allow. Has everyone had a chance to review that ordinance change?
Yes. I have a question about it.
Yes, ma'am?
You know, I think that it should be a little more flexible. If there's something going on, like, you know, I know Dylan took a lot of time, but if there's something on somebody's mind, that 3 minutes is a lot of, you know, very short time to detail out their complaint or their suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go back to 5. I would like to keep it at 5 minutes, because you never know what people have to say. And I didn't know that there was a time limit on our meetings. I mean, is there a time limit on our board meetings?
On the public floor being open?
Yes, well, on the whole
board.
entire.
Oh, no. We're here till we get the job done.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I'm flexible. I think that's a good thing. And I just think that maybe the public would be more acceptable of, if they have something to say, to have the time to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know, I looked at it and I said, oh my goodness, I recommended that we accept it, and I didn't comprehend it.
Okay.
You know, now that I've comprehended it, I think 5 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. I mean, with, you know, Dylan, 5 minutes wasn't enough, wasn't it?
Well,
No, and I didn't mean to go over that.
and if you recall, when Dylan was speaking, he said the same thing about 4 or 5 times
Yes,
during that 5 minutes.
Yes, he did.
And in my
He's repetitive,
experience,
yeah.
that you can usually get said what you want us to know within 3 minutes.
I think sometimes when there is emotional behind it, when
Yeah,
we
it
have
can go
emotions
on.
with it, I think sometimes you want to get your point across, you know, and I think that's what, you know, he kept repeating himself because he wanted us to focus in on that.
gonna be honest with you, I don't even realize I repeat. My wife tells me that all the time. So I'm sorry for that.
Repeat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I think 5 minutes is more, you know, in my opinion, is a better time limit than 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
I agree with her, but I think you can put 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of just 3 minutes to 5 minutes, you put 3 to 5 minutes. That way you can.
I think if they're repeating themselves.
Let it be known too that if a person has something of a broad spectrum or a lengthy thing they need to say to us, they're to get a hold of the clerk and get on the agenda. So
That's
they're
correct. I
actually
understand
stated,
that.
you know, that they need
Understand
more
that.
time than the 3-minute limit they were given them. And usually, when the public floor is open for comments, it should obtain to whatever is on the agenda that evening, because this is posted in advance, so they know what we're talking about, and they can give us their input. And that's why, like this evening, I felt it was important that I go ahead and open the floor, move those open meeting comments up, so that if anyone did want to talk about the ordinances that we would possibly pass in this evening, they'd have that opportunity to give us their opinion. Because maybe I didn't think of it that way, and I want to think about that even more before I put a vote. So, that's a possibility too, but I
don't see how we can have a range, it's gotta be either or.
Yeah. And I can skip this for now, and if you'd like to take the opportunity, Gary, would you hand the blue sheet over to Linda? Linda can review it, and she can see what the guideline says for public speaking. That's from Robert's Rules.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I have been at meetings before where we give everyone 5 minutes, and we will spend 45 minutes listening to people talk or degrade the board for 5 minutes. We would like our public to be able to come in and tell us what's on their mind, what's important to them. They have a chance to see what we're talking about and share that with us, or if they have something new that we're not even aware of, they can do that. Excuse me. I'll joke.
I have struggled with it, to be honest with you, but I think 3 minutes is more than enough time. We've all seen the experiment. We've watched court shows. If we set this timer for 3 minutes, about 30 seconds in, we're all going to be going. And, you know, you can make your point and be effective, be articulate, be polite. And, you know, there is give and take here. That's why we're here. If we need to go ahead and extend and let that person talk, let's start it out with 3. Then if the situation merits, then I say...
And that's always at the discretion of the mayor. If someone obviously is not getting their point across within the 3 minutes, then I can open the floor a little longer for that purpose. But we need a baseline, need a principle to go by. If you do not have this in your ordinance, then you cannot enforce it.
I was just torn about it. I don't like to take away time from anyone. So I started reaching out to voters here in Belmont, neighbors, friends, voters, and everyone that I talked to said, yes, 3 minutes is plenty of time to get your point across. And they, like Barbie just said, realized that if we needed more time, we could definitely, if it's constructive conversation, if it's adult conversation, we would definitely extend that. But everyone that I talked to, there were 7, everyone was in agreement, or everyone encouraged me to vote for 3 minutes.
How come she did that? You know, I just thought, sometimes it takes me, it takes my thoughts. You know, I have to get them on film, and I have problems speaking, publicly or whatever. So sometimes I want to have everything in a line, and
That's fair.
if number 5 didn't get mentioned,
Right.
But I would gladly leave it up to the mayor's discretion whether that person needs more than 3 minutes.
Prepared to vote on this or not.
Okay, any other comments about the proposal that I have for the changes in the public speaking? Again, I'm asking to reduce 5 minutes to 3 minutes for the person talking, and the total amount of floor open is 15 minutes. I've heard the discussion about the 3 to 5 minutes. Is there any problem with the total floor being open 15 minutes? Yes, Linda?
I'm sorry.
No problem.
What if we have a lot of people who have a lot of problems? You know, like with Mr. Burby's, you know, ditch, you know, and the backing up of the water, and then somebody else has a problem with theirs. I mean,
If you had, Mr. Burbick spoke for about a minute, and Ms. Burbick spoke less than that,
Yeah.
so even then gives you 15 people for someone to say, I've got a
so
problem,
that
can
would
you
be
help?
5 minutes. I mean, that 3 minute limit.
5 people.
Yeah,
people.
5 people.
That's pretty reasonable, huh?
And that would cover everyone here this evening.
Yeah, really. Provided they take 3 minutes.
Yes, yes, and if they go over that, then we're gonna lose a little time. And if it's something that has a presentation, or like, the league, they had, got a hold of the clerk and asked to be on the agenda, because they knew they had to talk about it. And that's why they spoke. That wasn't part of the, you know, I opened the floor then, and they went then also, but they were on the agenda.
I'm sorry to take up too much
No,
time.
not at all. No, Linda, we want you to understand, and we want to do it, yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, yeah. Okay, are we prepared to vote? May I ask for a motion to pass this ordinance change for public speaking?
Will you read the ordinance change to
Um,
be specific about what we're doing?
Ms. Claudia, do you have that in front of you, your ordinance?
I do not.
I think this might be.
Public comment request. Any person not a member of the village board may address the village board with regard to items of proposed business under the following rules. Number 1, he or she shall rise, if not physically impaired, and state his or her name for the record, and unless further time is granted by the board, to limit remarks to 3 minutes. All remarks shall be addressed to the village board, not to any member thereof. Number 2, the total time for addressing the village board will be limited to 15 minutes total from the entire group at any regular meeting session. Number 3, on occasion, with prior notice to the board given in advance, a single person may address the board for a total of 15 minutes about a single topic on behalf of a group of people who want to discuss a single topic. And the remainder of the ordinance is, there's no changes.
Well, that's right.
But that's the part that we're gonna change, or?
Yeah, so that's what the ordinance is.
Okay.
And you received a copy of the old that's in our ordinance book,
Yeah.
and then what the change was. She pointed that out, okay? And recall that she did say, at the discretion of the board, if we want them to speak longer.
Okay.
You know, if they feel like they didn't get everything said that they need to get across to us.
Okay. Yeah, I love these Robert's Rules of Order.
Oh, very good guidelines, yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
I wish I had it before. I think I made some boo-boos.
We'll see if we can, get that.
I have a nice little book. Used to get one on Amazon.
And a new edition of the IML book has come out, and we are going to be ordering those, correct? Correct? To be handed out and posted. The 2018 is all we have right now. The 2023
Just came out.
just came out,
Oh, great.
and so we'll be getting that to our trustees.
I just remember going through this during high school.
Mhm.
The speech class, yes. Thank you, sir.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion was made by
Peggy Walling and seconded by Barb Bruce to pass the, new motion as presented and read by the clerk. There were, I didn't hear all the votes, there were 6 yes votes, 0 nays.
Did you abstain?
I did abstain.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't think I heard them.
5 yes votes, 1 abstention, 0 absent.
Can I make an abstention? Can I abstain?
Abstain?
Yeah. that's
Or
fine.
you can even vote no, too. You can,
No, I
you can
just
do
like
anything
to
you want.
abstain, no.
Okay, and so when you abstain, your vote is neither yes nor no.
Right,
And, 3 passes the vote.
okay, no problem.
Okay. So what's the vote now?
4 yeas and 2 abstains.
4 yeas,
Yes.
that's a total of 7, and there's only 6 people
No,
to vote.
4 and 2 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 pass.
Okay,
2 abstain.
okay. 4 abstentions and 4 yes votes, 2 abstentions, motion passes.
For the public speaking amendment.
Yes.
Next is the, I've got on, she wrote on here, approval of work schedule for 25, approval of ditch work, and both those were actually approved, previously. Yeah, they've been approved previously, but what you have in front of you tonight is the, resolution. I gave you a copy of the page of the resolution that is prepared by Motor Fuel Tax. Remember Linda and you and I worked on that, and then I submitted it to, Brett Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And, so all that is included on his sheet. I gave you should be the sheet that has it listed out, how much is being on, chip and seal. We have that as $24,981 is our estimate, and as you see, we're doing quite a few roads this year because we did not get them done last year. Did we get them done the year before? It's been rough. And then we have, road patch that is covering in all our big holes, and that actually is scheduled for Thursday of this week. And that is approximately $1,500 to do that. On that project, we do not have the manpower to get the patch done. I have rented a hot box from Tim Glick, and the patch is arriving Thursday morning early, and then Derek Geiswhite is supplying workers to help spread the patch. And but we're using the hot box. Our advantage there is that instead of having to load this tractor, go pack down what you just have in your tractor, and then coming back to City Hall and then going out back and forth, we actually have a box that keeps it hot, and it holds 2 tons. I'm getting 4 tons total. Previously, we have gotten 3 tons and had very little left over or didn't get out to the cemetery and something of that sort. So this year we are doing 4, and we have the workers coming to help us. Any volunteers that we have that can help, that would be great. But I knew that I needed to get it done. We had this scheduled for last month, April 2nd. We got horrible rain, and you can't put it down in the wet.
I have a question in regards to that, because we did the road,
Chip and seal.
yeah,
and
we
patch.
did the survey, what, a month ago?
I think it was 2 months ago that you and I went out on the road.
And we've had a lot of rain since.
Yes,
And I'm just wondering if there's not any roads out there that need it
that
now.
need more?
Maybe we need
Update it.
update it, yes, ma'am.
We're good on it. With the 4 tons that we have, we will start at one end, and we will just patch every hole that we see. We know where the bad spots are, but we're going to try to get every hole in town,
Everyone
and then what we
new
have
or
left
not.
over, we plan to go out to cemetery roads. But with 4 tons and the appropriate number of men, we should be able to get the job done.
Now, we're only responsible for the road up until the first pole, is that
For
correct?
the first 4 poles out at
First
cemetery
4
road.
poles, okay.
And I think that pretty well lines up where the ditch is that goes between the ballpark and, you can't really see it in the field, but if you look at it that way, you'll see that's where it lines up.
Oh.
And, that's the end of city limits. Yeah.
Did you say 4 poles?
4 poles at the cemetery, So the first one's already there, and then you count 4. And then when you
Okay.
get to that one, you look down the lane, or across the field,
I wasn't too sure how many poles it was.
4 poles is what I've always been told, and I tried to look at my map on that to make sure, and yes, that's where it lined up for me too. So,
It's never been measured.
I don't know that it has. I know that this is, the way I've always been told, and I appreciate your interest in the roads, and that gives me a clue.
I'm just asking, I'm not volunteering.
Okay. But, I do have a map, I don't have it with me at the table, that shows the town and how that's determined when we put those colors on there, and we can say what it is. Also on the list then is the ditch cleaning, culvert replacement. You know, we had a bid last year from Mr. Swanson. He was very late in the fall coming out, which held us up. The order that you want to usually get this done, and the way it's been explained to me, you want to get your chip and seal done after you do your ditches. You want to get your water cleaning of the culverts after they do the ditches. And ditches never got done last year, and so it just delayed it. Mr. Swanson was able to come and do 2 ditches, and he took out 2 portions of the sidewalk that were falling in. So, and then I was forced to go ahead and settle that bill up so that we could get our year-end work done and then move forward this year. He has not gotten back with me this year, and so I contacted Mr. Geislight, and he came out and gave us an estimate. We also had an estimate last year from Connor Travis out of Albany, but Mr. Geislight's estimate was a lower estimate for us for what we were needing, and so that is what I have submitted to motor fuel tax.
What's the amount on it?
14,000. It rounded up to 14,000. And then on your resolution, you have the list of the different areas that we're approving, and then motor fuel tax will give you about 10%. He'll go 10%. He'll just a little bit over in case you go over. You never want to go over what you are asking for, so they give you a little leeway, and he has approved 45,000 for our roads this year, and we're hoping to keep it around that 40,000. So that's the resolution that I've presented to you this evening. This is a long time coming, been put off for, as I said, this is the second year that was put off. Chip and seal and ditching.
Okay, so motor fuel tax funds are approved to be used for these 3 different
Yes.
areas.
Yes. At this point, the board tells me what roads they feel like they need to be done. We've got that part done, we have that list in front of us, and then we send that to Mount Carmel Stabilization or to people that are going to give us a bid for the ditches, and then they give us their estimates to fix it. Then we turn around and we submit that to IDOT, and then he writes a resolution to say, yes, what he feels is approvable for what we're wanting to spend and where we're going to spend it. And then once he writes a resolution, I bring that to the board and ask for a vote on it, and then send that back, and then we get the official paperwork signed. So we're at the point now where I'm telling you that motor fuel tax has said that what we are asking for is within our spending limits for motor fuel tax. It's within the guidelines of what we can spend motor fuel tax money for. I'll remind you that motor fuel tax money is only spent in town roads. It is not spent on any out of town roads. And because the cemetery road, that's how far we go, it's just that 4th pole, and that's why we're allowed to go to there and not beyond. The other road commissioner takes care of that part. And last year I really hated it, we didn't get it done because we were going to try to do it at the same time he was doing his, and he did his and it looked great and ours looked like so we're gonna try to get on that better this year.
Now, will we address special requests like Zoella's and, Mr. Burbick's?
Yes, and see, that's why,
That sounds like it needs to be fixed.
their ditch is on my list of ditches. We looked at that, and I don't go with just what I think needs to be fixed. I
Right.
definitely have to look at our alleys.
A special request from the
Now,
people or-
if they want something specially done at their culvert,
Oh, yeah.
that is on them. Now, some of your
To keep the
excavators.
water out would be on us though, correct?
Yes, to make their
Yeah.
ditch, to dig their ditch out. If it doesn't have enough dip in it, yes.
Okay.
And last year, Mr. Swanson looked at it, and this year, Mr. Geiswright looked at it, Connors looked at it, and so we do know that's a problem area for us. The whole purpose is to get the water draining. We kinda like Church Street at the four-way stop, is like the high point and goes down like that, and so our water drains either north to the big ditch at the end of the city limits, or to the railroad, is where our waters are going. And sometimes we have a little trouble when things are getting messed up. If you notice, I have 2 barricades on, the county road, and understand that when you come into Belmont at Northeast and, Northwest Street, that is where our responsibility starts, and then Main Street up to the four-way stop sign. After the four-way stop sign and you turn left to go back out of town, that is considered county road again. And so there's some ditches there that need to be dug out also. I have them on the list. I don't suspect that we will be paid to fix those. Dustin Bunting and Terry Procyte is coming out tomorrow to review those and to see what they can do for those. County takes care of that. And so they'll be looking at that part. But I had it on the list because I knew it was a problem for us and we had to get it fixed one way or the other. But hopefully they will be covering that cost. And I'm hoping that if we can accomplish this year, that next year we can actually do sidewalks. This year I can start finding sidewalks, do the first part, clearing them, finding them, clearing them, and then maybe we can repair. We can use motor fuel tax money to repair existing sidewalks, but we cannot use it to build new sidewalks.
Okay.
And that hopefully we'll look at next year. If we do other things that require motor fuel tax money yet this year, if we find more problems that we need to do something with, like trees, some trees can be used motor fuel tax money, then that is just put onto your maintenance at the, on down the road when I do my last end of the year submission. That is put on there.
What if you have a plus at the end of the year?
That's great, you still have it in your account.
You can carry it, keep it, you
Well,
carry it over,
yeah,
or?
it's not like they're giving us money, this is money that we have in our account already.
Oh,
But
okay.
they can, so we can have all kinds of money in that account, but unless they say that we're spending it on an approvable action, it just sits there. If you recall last fall, I believe, we did move, some of the monies from motor fuel tax into some CDs, so to get a better interest rate on it while it was sitting there. So at this time, if we look at our motor fuel tax balance, if there are motor fuel tax savings on that first page, we are at $34,936, and our bid for a resolution is $40,000. And then we have on page 2, you will see there is a the last 2 CDs at the end are motor fuel tax. That's an additional $31,000 there, and then the one above that, so $45,000 we actually have in CDs, and then we have an operating balance of about $40,000, and that amount will increase next month as it comes along. Monthly is about $846. You see we have there. It'll vary a little bit. So we will have the funds in our regular operating to pay the resolution, to pay the estimates when the work is done. And then as soon as the CD comes right, we'll put that in a balance. Or if we, at any time, we can pull the money out of the CD with a small penalty. But that was our good choice that we made last year to get that higher interest on that motor fuel tax fund. I just wanted to point that out, that if you're thinking 45,000 and we only have 34, yeah, so.
And you're saying that's just an estimate?
Yeah, these are estimates. When the work is actually done, it could be less or more, and we always want it to be less. We never want to go over what we've been allowed, and that's why they allow 45, even though we've only said we're only spending about 40.
Well, when you're going to do ditch cleaning and culvert replacement, you're gonna probably have some extra.
We're gonna take
No, you go ahead.
I don't need to recess? Okay.
No, I
Mr.
just
Rigg is
need
gonna
to
step
know.
out for a moment.
Can you get through, Jane?
Yeah.
And, also I had inquired about the concrete lot up on Main Street that used to hold the rock. That's an eyesore. It carries weeds now. We managed to get all the rock off of it and storing our rock at the end of this parking lot. And, Mr. Geisweit has given us a bid to break that up, actually using the concrete there, breaking that up, and then adding appropriate chat on top of it so that it'd be a parking lot. And I think that would be a good choice to have our school bus folks that are waiting for their children for the school bus to actually park in that parking lot and get them off of Main Street. And the bus can pull up there and they can load and unload at that area. That money will not be coming out of motor fuel tax. The bid, I think, actually came in right at $3,000. When he initially looked at it, Mr. Geisweit, he thought about $2,500. But after the fine print, the bid is at $3,000 on that. That is something that would need to come out of general funds. I'm not asking anyone to consider that this evening. We're considering just what's on this resolution. We talked about that area, if we wanted to get the concrete out completely and plant grass, or make it a parking lot, make a place where the bus can pull in, or the parents can pull in, but those things aren't going to happen overnight. If we were going to ask the bus stop, District 348, would their bus pull in there, that would require us going to the meeting and asking them if that's something they would consider, or if it would be more convenient for them just to pull up and our children to get on. And the reason why I want the board to consider this is because last year I got several complaints that children running out in front of the buses, someone almost got hit. I did not find this to be accurate when I investigated it, but it was reported to me in that way. So that's going to eliminate any chance of that if they're loading, if the bus is pulling in there and they're loading from the parking lot. It won't be near congested with all the cars on both sides. Some parents are going to say, no, we want to park on the side and not in the parking lot. We'll address that when that time comes.
Discuss that tonight, or?
I don't think so. I think we have enough on the plate, but I just want to give you food for thought so you all can be thinking about it. If you come up with other ideas, we can look at that at another time.
What parking lot are you talking about?
Where we used to keep the rock, and you know,
Okay, I got it.
it's just a concrete mess now, and it's uneven too.
I agree, it's an eyesore. I don't think those parents are gonna park in a parking lot because they can just get the children out of the car and drive off. If they get in a little parking lot, all those cars are gonna have trouble getting out. It's gonna be a cluster. And
Maybe like a
I think the bus
drive-through,
could pull
you know,
in
where
there.
they can pull up, the cars can line up down the other street instead of the main street, but like, have a drive-through so they can just be first, second, third, and the children wait.
Kind of like they do at the schools.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, that's something I just wanted to bring up this
Yeah.
evening. I think before we would even do something like that we would ask, now as far as cleaning it up, we could do that, but asking people to actually park there or to utilize it. I think we should wait on that, and then we should ask the public. We can send that survey out in the water bills and say, is this something you're interested in?
Well, we can't stop the public from parking in the street. I mean,
No.
we can't stop them from doing that, and I would rather park on the street if I was letting out my child and I had to get to work. I
Yeah.
don't wanna pull into a small little parking area and wait my turn to get out.
So the other
That's
option
kind
might
of the
be,
thought I had.
Yeah.
They've been parking on both sides of the street as long as I can remember.
yeah, and opposed to the curb where they used to let the bus stop, you know, that, I didn't think that was a good idea either, but again, we can discuss this more at another meeting. The other option is grass, but I think we need to do something with the lot. It's
It is a
uneven,
nice-
yeah, it's uneven, it's not, yeah.
They can build a
So-
barn.
Okay, so at this
Moving right
time.
along.
Yeah, it'd be bringing in people, right?
Right.
I don't even know how to apply for a liquor license.
We can help you figure that out.
I'm already approved.
So on the agenda, I have the road work and the ditch work schedule, and those are on the resolution. May I have a motion to approve the resolution presented this evening?
May I speak a little bit before you do that?
Sure.
I understand you got here on the paper what all you intend to work on,
Uh-huh.
but, and I didn't. Don't get me wrong, I didn't get on here because I wanted something done down here for me. But the roadway from northwest to Free Trade is a public enemy.
Uh-huh.
Both sides are falling off on the culvert there.
We have on the list Northwest Street, Main to Route 15. So that's Northwest Street.
Yeah. Main to Route 15, that away,
No,
or that away?
this Main to Route 15 that way.
Okay,
The actual road is Northwest Street that's being worked on.
okay, because that culvert there
Yeah.
where they come off of Free Trade
Mhm.
onto Northwest, somebody that don't see very good, and I'm one of them, but I do know it's there.
Yes, that has been
That is terribly, okay.
Yeah,
With the
that's
ice, you could
definitely,
slid right in.
and we're doing the road patch on that
Yeah.
heavily come Thursday also, but that is on the list. See if this is what you have in front of you.
Yeah, I have that, yeah.
Okay, so the first road you see is the actual road that is getting the work, and then the to and from street,
Yeah,
okay? And also, we're addressing, there at, Donna Fisher's property, there is a manhole that water gets in there and it's washing away. So, what Mr. Geiswhite recommended to me is to, it's a little bit above what I understand, but they're putting in a particular, washout thing where it's a concrete, not a culvert, but
yeah, that's
drain, so that there's no washing out. It's gonna limit what's happening. Right now, I went back in there and I put, call it riprap, big rocks.
Riprap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I put all that in there to try to stop it immediately, but overall, that's what needs to be done. And Mr. Geiswhite addressed that with me, and that is on the list also.
Thank you, I misunderstood what that meant right there.
Okay. And I think I threw them off sometimes because I call the road Main Street, and Main stops at four-way stop. So when I talked about Main to
Yeah.
the tower on Hackleberry, they didn't know where Main was. And I'm like, no, we're not doing the county
Main Street
road.
run all the way down to Lover's
Yeah,
Lane.
Hackleberry.
It does. Main just goes that way, but it does not turn.
It doesn't go this way.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So people thought it went with the county road,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think I described it that way, so I had to clarify on that. Like, okay. And then, the county road is, I thought it was 8, but maybe it's not County Road 8,
It's Highway 8.
Highway 8, and I thought that's what I thought it was. So we got that clarified.
Okay, thank you. Now you can what it was.
Okay, may I have a motion to pass the resolution for IDOT this evening?
I make the motion.
Second.
Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion has been made by Jerry to pass the resolution. It was seconded by Gary, and I don't know if anybody abstained or said no. I believe that there were 6 yes votes, or aye votes.
Correct.
Okay.
Then Claudia, I'll hand you the actual paperwork that is the resolution that will take your signature and your seal, and then mine following to be mailed back in tomorrow.
Okay.
Or email in.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Next on the agenda is just around the table. Do any of the trustees have some, things they wanna, inform us, the rest of the board about that's been on your mind, that you've been noticing in town, that you'd like us to start addressing?
I've got one thing to say, okay? The reason I come on this board was to address what you just spoke about. You, Joella.
Well, I knew you was pointing at me.
I don't like the guff that was coming through here, and if it comes in again, I intend to do something about it right then.
We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'll introduce you to our new, Sergeant at Arms, Gary Rigg.
Do you have a pit bull?
He is the pit bull.
I am the pit bull.
We appreciate that, Jerry. We need to be able to come in here and take care of the business of running this building.
This
We
is true.
appreciate that.
I thought you needed some help, and that's why I came.
Buddy, thank you so much. It's appreciated more than you'll know.
And, you know, I was told that I sought people out and so forth. Well, as a caring individual for the town, I have to seek people out and try to get the board. I'd love to see some young people get on the board. So far, I can't find that interest.
I'd love to see some people get off
I'd like
the
to see some young
ballpark
people.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not many young people in town. They all kind of got a little grayish.
But we do appreciate Brad being on the league. That's all that I'm not going to say that. Thank you. And it's good to have outsiders come in and support a small town like us. So, okay, then.
That's all I had.
All righty.
Thank you.
Claudia, I see that in our packages you have gave us an insert how to register for FOIA or CAT portal site.
Everybody is supposed to do this once a year. It stands for, what's the PAC?
Freedom of Information Act, the Open Meeting Act.
Open Meeting Act. And because we participate in an open meeting every time we come together, we're supposed to complete this training. So the sheet tells you step by step how to get onto the computer and complete this training. Now when I did it, I had to do FOIA also. FOIA gives you a certificate, but when I did the Open Meeting Act, I did the training, but it wouldn't print a certificate for me. So I don't know if you're going to get a certificate or not, but you should do it and then come back and say, hey, I did that Open Meeting Act training this week. And so it's to teach you what's the proper thing to do to conduct yourself at the meeting, what you can say and do, what you shouldn't say and do, and also how you should conduct yourself concerning Belmont business outside of the meeting. So, just gives you the regulations.
Claudia, did the elected trustees and myself get a package or the one form, the yellow form that we all have to fill out?
You guys all had a yellow form but when you registered?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
They've already done that. So.
Okay.
And you'll get one every year that you're supposed to send in. So, not everybody does it.
And that's usually handled by you?
Yeah.
Of course, okay.
I was in the nursing home at that time. I lost whatever I had in there.
You filled one out and turned it in,
Oh,
I
did I?
recall. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I don't recall
Because we
much
had to
in
look
there.
up a lot of it, because we're like, yeah.
Oh, I
own
had a
my
lot of
house,
questions,
and-
that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I did too, and
had-
I didn't know the answers, so we had to look it up. Yep. But Claudia can always check and make sure that we have
Yeah.
that on file. That's turned in to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, if we don't have anything else this evening, I will announce that the next meeting date is June 10th. That will be the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. In the past, because we had such a small board, I would always, ask the trustees if they had any problems with that date. And if they did, then at this time, we can make the amendment to have it on the Wednesday or the Thursday or whatever else. 6:30 is our meeting time. If we choose to change that to a different time, like if we wanted to have morning meetings or afternoon meetings, but we do need to make sure that our meetings is at an appropriate time for the public to be able to attend. We do not want them to be on a holiday. And we can look at the guidelines on that, and if anyone has any more thoughts on that, we can discuss that next month. This evening, I don't recommend that we change our meeting date. I'd like us to stay on that schedule, but it's for you all to say.
I'm good with that date.
Was it the second Tuesday?
Yes.
And the schedule is preset in January. We usually get it ready in December, and we put it out on the board outside. It's listed here in the meeting room so that we always know it's the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30. Okay, then that's what it will be, June 10th. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I just want to say that when I got up to leave earlier, it wasn't because anybody made me mad. I just had something I needed to do.
Sure.
That was it.